Yo, what is up, guys? Your boy Ed from Undefeated. You already know we got my boy Alan over here on my Discord. My boy is going to show us his Spright Runick deck. He's been doing really well with it. I think it's super fun. It's really interesting, and it's something that I haven't seen in a while, or ever, actually. My fault. Alan, what do you think about the deck, man?
Bro, this shit is actually peak degeneracy, man. I don't know what you say about fun. If you mean by me sitting on mine for like 30 turns is fun, then that's what I agree with you.
I like to sit on mine. I'm one of those players, you already know. I like the deck. I think this is a lot of fun, and I definitely want to get into it. Any shout-outs before we get started, my boy?
Easy enough. We got some few shout-outs. We got shout-out to Dan motherfucking Tom. Sponsored me.
The Godfather.
The one, the only. And to my other two teammates in the 3v3, Stephen Bedell and Corey Nance, the homies, also part of the Dan squad. Enterprises.
Danton Enterprises. Danton, definitely one of the biggest goats in Houston, you already know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But all right, buddy, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, so we're going to start off with the main deck. So starting off with the Runick package, we got one Runick Fountain, one Field Spell. Don't need more. We're not trying to actually play Runick. 3 Flashing Fire. Pops a Special Summon Monster. Banishes top 2. 3 Fusing Curses. Effect Veiler. Effect Negation. Banishes top 3. Simple enough. Runick Tip. Rhoda for any Runick card. Banishes top 1. 3 Runick Destruction. MST. Pops. Banishes top 4. 1 Runick Slumber. This is the weird one. You can target a face-up monster. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effect once, but it also cannot declare an attack. Banishes top 3. The reason I play one of is just because this is the only decent name that's left in the Runick package. I wanted to play one more on top. I know most players are probably playing this setup where they're playing 3 Flashing, 3 Freezing, 3 Tip, 1 Destruction. But I wanted to see Runick much more to accelerate my mind gameplay, quote-unquote gameplay anyway. Sometimes you're in a game state where you make your Elf, you make Toad, your opponent goes, all right, Dark Ruler. And the only thing they can beat over is Elf, so you just flip Runick Slumber, protect your Elf one turn, they're like, well, shit, I still have to deal with the Toad, I still have to deal with the Elf, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Big thing about the Runick cards, I'm misforgetting. The second effect of all of them is the same. Especially someone an extra deck of Runick wants it from your extra deck. And the restriction is for all the Runick cards, once you resolve them, you have to skip your next battle phase.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Reckless Greed, it's very much the same as that, where they don't stack. So if you play like 3 different names, you don't
It doesn't mean, yeah. Yeah, I like that. So it doesn't mean you're going to skip the next 3 battle phases. It's just the next battle phase.
Correct. The next battle phase you enter. So one of the things you got to make sure you're up to keep with is every time you're going to go to end phase after your main phase, you go and say, hey, I'm going to go to battle phase. Your opponent says, cool, go to battle phase. And then you're like, all right, yeah, skip end phase. That's how you get around that. Okay,
so you do got to enter your battle phase in order to get out of it.
Correct, because battle phase is an optional phase. Because you can go straight from main to end. So if your opponent, say for instance, your opponent's playing against you, and they go Toad effect to steal a Runick card, right?
Okay.
One of the things I actually like to do is, you know, if they ever flip that Runick card, say, oh, they flip a Runick Destruction top 1 on my back row, and they banish the top 4, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm never going to say battle phase for the rest of the game. Because the one time they try to say battle phase, I'm like, cool, go to end phase, because you never went to battle phase ever.
Okay.
So if you're inexperienced against people who take your Runick cards, you can definitely just watch them play themselves into a corner, like just never going into battle phase. Because if you don't say it, they're not going to say it.
Interesting.
So, part of the obvious package and Sprights, 3 Frog, 1 Ronin. Nothing simple, nothing special. Simple as.
Okay.
Spright package, super simple. 3 blue, 3 jet, 1 red, 1 carrot.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
1 Gammaverse, 1 Smashers, 3 starter. Gammaverse is in here because in game 1s, where we don't draw any Runick cards and we don't draw Mine or Dark Ruler, we just kill them. And they're literally not going to be prepared for the rest of the deck. Like, you already see the degeneracy.
Oh my god. Can you remind me what that Gamma does?
Sure. Gamma Burst, quick play effect. Every level level 2, rank 2, link 2 monster on the board gains 14. Raw stats, basically. So what you do is, if your opponent has one card face down, let me just go into the extra real quick. Straight up, if you get the only thing you need to kill is Elf, Onibi Maru, and literally like just any other random level 2, like carrot or red.
Okay.
Banish their monster, and this is like 9k damage.
Oh my god.
So they're just dead.
That's pretty gas.
If you literally don't draw the control tools, you just go for the OTK. Make it simple.
I like that.
Obviously, starters, smashers.
Yeah, starters.
Did you mean bedroom?
Can you unplug it?
Alright. Best card of the game.
Did you mean bedroom?
Obviously, Mystic Mind. This boy carries you in the rules. You play Mystic Mind, you watch people squirm. Like, if you're ever sitting on mine, and you know your opponent's on the out, you set your starter, end phase, you flip starter, special your blue, trigger blue, end phase pop mine. Bro, I just searched my jet, special jet. Jet gets you into the gamma burst. Bro, we're pushing. Gets you into starter, into smashers. We're just killing people. So it's super easy to play around mine, and there's some real cool tricks you can do with it in Runick. Obviously, you sitting on mine, playing Runick cards, you're milling them out of resources. And say, for instance, they're playing one Galaxy Cyclone, or like, you know, it's game 2, 3, they know you're on mine. If you just watch them banish all of their outs, you can tell when your opponent's tilted. You know they're about to
No, they're tilted.
the best. And obviously, we just need to play the game. Triple Dark Ruler.
Yeah.
Dark Ruler them, break their board, sit on Runick cards, sit on mine. Call by the Grave, broken 1-of. Terraforming, broken 1-of. Metaverse, broken 1-of.
Broken 1-ofs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that a clean 40?
That's a clean 40, baby. We're nothing more, nothing less. We're trying to be as efficient as possible in this
I like
game.
that.
All right, and on to the extra deck. So, Runick cards, let's get that out of the way first. Hugin, level 2, fusion. So, on summon effect, discard for cost, search for fuel spell. It's a level 2, and there's actually a really good second effect attached to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever your mine would actually be destroyed by, say I have a mine face up, right? And they go, MST, target my mine. You go chain any of the Runick field specials, and you special summon Hugin. And if you're familiar with
Balinks.
summon free card, Balinks, correct. On resolution of mine being destroyed, very specifically, this protects from destruction. Banish Hugin instead, mine stays face up.
Oh, that's so nice.
Very nice.
So the first time I encountered that, it literally threw me off. That was so
It doesn't
crazy.
even interact with mine. It literally says Banish Protect. In a similar vein, Munin does this almost the same thing, but worse. It protects you, so it has to be face up, and it has to see something getting targeted, and then it'll Banish Protect, but we're not playing it for that. The only card line that matters in this card is that end phase gain 1,000 life. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You know time rules. I'm not gonna mince words. This guy, Jerry, literally named Jerry.
Jerry.
So level 4 Dark. Level 4 Dark, his effect on summon is grab back the field spell if it's engraved. The reason we play this is when we get to the very fun card called Beat Cop. And when Beat Cop and Mystic Mind interact, it's a very bad time for your opponent. So this is a free Dark to summon. This is probably going to change to a Nightmare Phoenix, but we'll see.
Okay.
2 gigantic sprites. It's Spright.
It's a given.
It's a given. Onibi Maru. Because we're not going to the battle phase, we're not ever going to go make Cavalry. We're not going to make Downer or Zeus. This is your removal card. Banishes cards until the end phase. If this gets destroyed by battle or card effect by your opponent, however many it has underneath, it'll shuffle back from the banish pile. It's a neat little resource. It's good.
I like that.
Al Mirage. This card sucks. You play it because sometimes you only draw Swap Frog and literally nothing else. It enables you to make Toad in the worst hands. But if you're ever making Toad with just Swap, you're in a bad position.
Yeah.
Probably going to cut this for this, or the Jerry's going to have to turn into Nightmare Phoenix, but we'll get around to it eventually. Beat Cop. If you summon this with 2 darks, it gains the effect of tribute itself as cost. Target a card on the field protected. So if you have mine up, your opponent has 1 card. You literally summon 2 monsters, makes Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright summon Jet or Blue, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jet Blue. Jet plus Gigantic / Blue / Gigantic makes this. Both of them are dark. It gains the bonus effect. Tribute itself as cost while they have a monster on the field. Put a counter on mine. Mine won't die for 1 destruction effect. So sit on mine longer.
Dang.
IP, because we're not playing any monster battle, or we're not planning on battling, we're trying to make if we can't get Oniti to immediately solve our problem.
Okay.
You make Elf IP, and then on their turn you're either making Cereboros or Underworld Goddess. Simple enough. The reason why we play these 2 is for 2 different situations. Sometimes you just need to out 1 monster to end the turn.
Like a towers?
Exactly, on a towers. Sometimes you just need to stop the 1 summon because you have Runick spells and traps to cover the rest of your problems. Sometimes you're against back row and you're just like, fuck this game.
Yeah, you don't want to play it.
You don't want to play. You
Yeah.
manage everything. This comes back extremely big. So like against Punk, against tier elements that banish cards for like snow or for other shit.
Yeah.
You can just literally like, bam, make Cereboros, nuke the board. Your standby phase comes back, bam.
Swing for game.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's so nasty.
Onto the sideboard. We're playing Spright. We need time rules.
Of course.
This is literally just me being haters against, skipping a bit ahead of myself. Those 3, these 3. Reboot's literally a broken card. Evenly is a broken card. Lightning Storm, I don't board in as often, but sometimes you get rogue players, so you just need to play Lightning Storm.
Yep.
It forces card interaction.
I like that.
We don't want to ever let our opponent play. So when we go first, going first, you board out of your Dark Rulers. You board out of the more useless Runick spells and traps. Sometimes I'll board out 2 mine and the Terraform to just leave Metaverse and 1 mine. Just to be able to play like the power spells, right? This turns off tier most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Unless they're on the really spicy stuff that I've been really liking what my buddy played. So in a world, I actually kind of want to bump this to 3 versus this, but this answers Dark Ruler.
Yeah.
This also pseudo answers Dark Ruler, but needing the hand requirement sometimes is a bit difficult. You can generate the cards if you do like Swap Frog effect to bounce the hand. Sometimes just having judgments is just better to negate a summon, because if they spend their normal summon on the 1 monster that's going to generate the level 2 body and Spright, that's the turn end. Versus where if they open 2 names or like 3 names, a pointer hits 1 name, they normal summon, they special summon. Versus where judgment distinctly clears that problem.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for this deck profile.
Cool.
Any other questions, Ed?
Man, so you played at the 3v3. How did you and your team do that day?
In total, our team went X1. We only lost 1 round. I personally never dropped a game. Let me rephrase that. I've never lost the game. Every game, I either outright won 2-1 or 2-0, or it was a situation where we were in game 2 or 3 where it was going to be decided. It was already decided by my teammates. But every game and every match that ended like that, I was in a very good position to keep pushing and stalling out the game state and simplifying the board state. Because once you simplify a board state with like Runick spells and traps,
yeah,
you run out of main deck resources, and you're just going, okay, Elf, bring back Toad, Elf, bring back Toad, Elf, bring back Toad. Like,
and you just, yeah, you're just literally trading at that point.
You're trading 2 cards every turn if they normal summon a monster. The worst case scenario, you summon a monster, there's nothing left in their deck. One of my opponents was on Adventurer Spright with a little small, it was Adventurer small Spright package with tier in it. And he milled, so he was like, okay, I have a mine out still. I'm like, cool, we're just going to keep playing, right? So it gets to a point where I mill his Galaxy Cyclone. He's like, oh, sick, broken. I'm like, oh, that sucks. All right, summon Beat Cop, protect mine. Like, okay, we're going to game 2. Immediately picks up the deck. Like, he didn't want none of this once he saw the Beat Cop come out.
Yep. He's like, okay. Well, that's awesome. Are you having any kind of like consistency issues, or is the deck as smooth as it can be?
I think the deck is as solid as can be. The only suspect spots are maybe the Gamma Burst, because most of the time, if you win the die roll, you're never gonna search the Gamma Burst because you're making the turn 1 board. Or if you're going into the board state as the turn 2 player, you'd rather start with Dark Ruler, which means you're not gonna end up searching the Gamma Burst because you're not gonna OTK. So why search that? Search Sphinx or search
Of course.
But outside of that, playing 40 has been great. On every extra deck card I've liked, minus this little shitter. But we play it because sometimes we want to make sure we have Toad. But we're probably going to cut this and say, hey, if it's bad enough to just end on Toad, we were not going to win that game anymore.
Yeah, of course. Cool. All right, man. Well, that's all the questions that I have. Do you have any last final words for me?
God damn, Mystic Mind needs to either get banned or I'm just going to keep playing this.
Well, the deck seems great, and I appreciate your time very much, Alan. Thank you very much. And thank you for the video.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Undefeated, baby.
Thank you, baby. I'll see you on the next one.